Welcome to Lineups and Lures. Join hosts Joe and Chris as they break down the biggest stories in professional and amateur sports and reel in the best fishing stories and tips. Whether it's game day strategy or the perfect catch, we've got you covered. Grab your gear and get ready. This is Lineups and Lures. Well, we're back after our summer break.
Well, your summer break. Some of us have been working.
We were working, just in a different...
Yeah.
But the NFL season is upon us.
It's go time.
Opening week. This is going to be a good one.
They're all good ones. There's no bad weeks in the NFL.
No, that's because there's a lot of parity in the league.
Yeah, I believe I've been saying this for the entire time. So, let's go.
Well, let's just jump right into it then.
Yep, let's do it.
Kind of looking at starting with the AFC. We'll go AFC East first. I think the Buffalo Bills are definitely the top team in the East. I mean, they're a Super Bowl contender if they can get through those playoffs. But the team I want to talk about is the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
How did that drop-off happen so fast? I mean, they're like predicted third, fourth in the conference. I mean, even the Patriots and the Jets are looking above them. Like, how did that team get so bad so fast when you've got a good quarterback who obviously went healthy? You got Tyreek Hill. You got a good running game. But they just seem to just kind of be the laughing stock of the league right now.
Yeah, I think the reality there is too is health. You can't spend 20% of your salary cap on a guy and not have him on the field. And that's the answer. I think they pushed all in with Tyreek. Tyreek had some great years in Kansas City. He's had some great years in Miami. However, that offense that he played in at Kansas City at that time was a pretty special offense. And I don't think, Jalen Waddle was pretty good there, had a couple years, but it wasn't Andy Reid's offense running like, an absolute Corvette motor running down the street. That and, just a couple unlucky bumps. They spent some money on some guys that didn't pan out, and at the end of the day, as good as Tua may or may not is, when healthy or not, he ain't Josh Allen.
He's not, but he's pretty dynamic, and he's hard to stop when he's playing well. So.
Yeah, they also have a problem, though, with their style of football, is they seem to do great when everything's, 80 degrees in Miami, but when you got to get playoff time and you got to get in December, January football, and it's cold and wet and crappy outside, you got to be able to run the ball between the tackles, and you got to go win it in the trenches, and they haven't been able to do that. So that's the answer.
Yeah. Who do you think will finish second in that conference? Do you think the Jets or the Patriots?
The Patriots could be a surprise of the league this year. They could be 6-10. They could be 11-6.
Well, they have a lot of pieces coming back. Like, there's a lot of continuity there.
Well, it starts with...
And a new coach.
And first and foremost, it starts with the quarterback. And we need to see what we got there, because I don't think anybody's willing to say that we have an answer there yet. That division is winnable. I wouldn't say it's winnable. I'd say a wild card spot is a possibility for them.
A playoff spot.
Yeah, I still like Buffalo in there. The Jets, dumpster fire. So for the AFC East, I see Buffalo kind of cruising through. New England could be. I think they're a little overhyped. I think there's plenty more talent in the AFC that we'll get to here shortly. But they could. They're going to win a couple they shouldn't, and they're going to lose a couple they shouldn't. And it's just going to be which ones they win and which ones they lose that could dictate some other team's fortunes.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to say that about a lot of these teams that we're going to talk about, because that's kind of how the NFL goes.
All right.
Nobody's
next?
going undefeated, that's for sure.
No, we'll take that bet.
AFC North, you got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns. So we can cross the Browns off the list.
I would not cross the Browns off that list.
I think they're going to be potentially the worst team in football this year.
I think you're right. Here's the funny thing, though. There is still a silly amount of talent on that football team. And, okay, they're going to beat someone they shouldn't somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
No, they win 4 games. They are a dumpster fire.
They're bad.
I was trying to sell something there. They're a dumpster fire. They're terrible. Now, the other 3 teams in that division, we got a lot of talking to do about. 2 of them especially. I think you've got the best offense and the best defense in football potentially in that division, with Cincinnati being the best offensive and Baltimore technically or potentially having the best defense in football. That's not an accident. Not a whole lot of people are going to argue with those statements. Which comes out better, offense or defense? That's the real question, right?
Well, but the problem is that Ravens' offense is also really good, and they can just pound the ball with Lamar running it, and then you just throw it to Derrick Henry guy, and he just runs through everybody.
Well, they got plenty of other dudes too. They got two great tight ends. They got Zay Flowers outside. So I think the deal with Baltimore basically comes down to, is Lamar Jackson healthy in January? That's been 3 out of the last 4 years he hasn't been. The one he did, they were, a play away from the Super Bowl. So they're close. That's a hell of a division. I can't wait to watch some of those football games on probably Sunday night.
Let's talk about Cincinnati.
Okay.
So they're the kind of bugaboo of the last couple of years is the slow start. And that's what's really killed them. I mean, a couple 0-4s, 1-5. I mean, it's just not a good way to start the season. And
right.
I think they did some things in the preseason, if you were watching it all, to try to eliminate that this year.
They did. They got their starters out there a little earlier and a little longer.
And that's a dynamic offense. I mean, they got a lot of money put into a quarterback and 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, and look, that should be the premier offense of the NFL. It should be. I don't know if they can stop it, but they might score 40 points a game. So they might be the 2019 version of the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's just going to be fun to watch. And for just football fans in general, I hope everybody stays healthy, because I want to sit there watching Joe Burrow throwing up for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns on Sunday Night Football and see if anybody can stop him. I think that's going to be hilarious.
No, I'm looking forward to a Bengals-Ravens game. That's going to be a lot of fun. Anytime you get best offense versus best defense, that's always good.
You're in the division. You're probably not going to have to wait that long. So.
No, probably not. What about the wild card out of there, the Pittsburgh Steelers? You think Aaron Rodgers has one more run in him?
No, I don't.
No?
I would like him to. I think that's good. I think there's enough talent on that football team and that franchise. I mean, I think they've had 3 football coaches in 50 years. Think about that.
Yeah, it's not a coaching issue. They're very well coached.
It's not a front office issue. They've got a pretty good roster. They just need someone to throw a football.
Well, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, they have a good run game. They just extended Warren, so their running back situation is good. They brought in DK. You got to assume that
they also let go of Pickens, so you could argue that they just treaded water there. But
don't you feel like there's going to be a relationship similar to the Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, where he looks over at DK, gives him a little signal, and it's just going to be quick passes, get the football in his hands, and let one of the best athletes in the NFL do his thing?
It should be.
I think he's going to be a monster in fantasy football this year.
Well, I've got him on my roster, so I hope you're right. But I'm not quite as confident as you are. I don't disagree with anything you've said. I just think that your excitement level was at a 10 and my excitement level's at a 6.5. Can they do that in that gauntlet of the division? I mean, they're going to have to play Cincinnati and Baltimore twice. You could say there's 4 losses right there. They're going to have to go to the West Coast a couple of times. At the end of the day, you need 11 to guarantee the playoffs anymore with the 17-game schedule. It used to be 10. Now it's 11, as we in the Northwest discovered very, very easily last year.
Pittsburgh discovered that last year, too. They were 10-7 and missed out, or wild card. So
they made the wild card. But So here's the deal. I mean, hey, it could be a hell of a story. They get off to a fast start, 4-1, 5-1. Rodgers is throwing the rock down the field. There's going to get a lot of people talking, but I'm going to wait and see for it to happen before I put it out there that I think it's going to happen.
Well, I hope they get off to a good start in part because we're going to the home opener, the Steelers-Seahawks game. So I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers and DK have a good game.
At least make it through the first half this year?
Yeah, put a good representation up in that first home game and then let the Seahawks come in and win at the end. So I'm hoping the Steelers have a decent year, but it's definitely Ravens-Bengals. And, I just got to hope that Burrow can put together a full season, and that team can go out and win some games because that's going to be fun to watch that offense play.
Yes.
AFC West.
Oh, let's go to the South first.
Who cares about the South?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
It's a dumpster, Houston Texans.
It's a dumpster fire.
And maybe the Jaguars figure some stuff out. I mean, is year 10 the right one for Lawrence?
You got to remember, though, 2 or 3 years ago, they went like 12-4.
I know, but then they went 4-13. So I don't know what's going on there. But
no one from the AFC South is winning the Super Bowl. I will make that prediction right now.
Yeah, good. Right, but Houston's the team.
Kind of like Indy a little bit, quite frankly.
Yeah, they got some quarterback issues.
No, they don't. They're going to go with a veteran.
Sure. Who's won how many games? Not that many.
Okay.
Just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you're a 3-win above replacement type guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got to see Houston there, but Indy maybe. All right.
Yeah. All right,
cares?
AFC West. Are the Chiefs stay at the top?
I think the Chiefs are third in the division.
Whoa. What?
Yes.
So who do you got on top? I'm going to assume it's Denver.
No, I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Oh, you think that, what is it, year 2 of Harbaugh?
I like everything that Denver's doing. I need Nix to have another year or two because I think he got a little bit of a free pass for most of the season last year. No one's sleeping on Bo Nix this year, and no one's sleeping on the Denver Broncos this year. And let's see how he also does in primetime every weekend as opposed to those nice little Sunday morning 10 o'clock games when no one's watching. So, hey, I'm not saying I'm rooting against the kid. I'm just saying Justin Herbert's been doing this for 6-7 years, and I think it's time for him. I also think it's time that, the Harbaugh effect, even though the guy is a criminal.
He just cheated a little bit.
Cheat, criminal, same. You say potato, I say potato. The reality is the man can coach football, however, which is what we're talking about right now. And I think that division is ripe for the taking. And I think Justin Herbert is about ready to have that year that really puts him on the map. I believe that.
As a Oregonian, I guess we'll call ourselves Oregonians
Sure.
now. We've lived here more than half our lives.
Yes, we have. That's a little scary.
It is. I got to root for Herbert too. I'd love to see the Chargers play well and make a good playoff run and see him do well, and because he has all the talent to be a MVP candidate.
Well, and look, let's not just talk about this isn't me just being a homer. I just think the reality is that Kansas City isn't the team it used to be. They're in salary cap purgatory. They had to let Joe Tooney go, who was one of the best offensive linemen in football. They've had to rotate through wide receivers. I don't believe Travis Kelce is 100% focused on football right now. I'm not sure Patrick Mahomes is 100% focused on football right now. I think Andy Reid's starting to look at what's my exit strategy. It's just human nature to what if they won 3 out of 5? You can't tell me that fire is burning inside of Kelce and Mahomes as bad as it was in 2019 before their first one. I just don't believe it.
I think what they have going for him, though, is that this is probably Kelce's final year. So maybe there's kind of that, let's get one more ride, see if we can get one more ring, really make ourselves the team of the 2020s.
I mean, I can buy that argument. You can have all those thoughts, but I just think that they're in salary cap purgatory. I think they've been there for a while. I think the other thing is Patty Mahomes is being able to get through some niggling injuries through the playoffs over the last few years, and I just wonder if he hasn't lost a step. That's no negative on him. The guy's been the top quarterback in football for damn near a decade, but you can only take so many hits and so many deals before you lose a step, and I also don't think he's got the same set of receivers that he had back in the day. He doesn't have the same offensive lineman blocking for him. And that's a problem when you make $480 million or whatever he makes. You can't pay everybody else.
But isn't that an argument that's been made every year for the last 4 or 5 years?
You want me to tell you a statistic?
Go for it.
Of the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL currently, right now, today, how many of them won a Super Bowl?
0.
0. There's your answer.
Is he the highest paid quarterback right now in the
Mahomes?
NFL? Yeah.
Not even close on an average annual. Not even close.
So they got a shot because
Well,
they are distributing money. But
yeah, but he's at 40, 45. He's still not at 8 like a rookie is.
sure. But like I said, you've been having this argument for years that, they let all their offensive line go. Oh, all their wide receivers are gone. Mm-hmm. They still win. They find ways to win.
Yeah,
They have a good defense.
but they won 2 of them on the rookie contract.
Still.
Well, that and I think Andy Reid might be a generational offensive mind.
Well, he's proven it in multiple locations, he's pretty good.
Yeah. So look, I think everything came together for Kansas City. I just think the ride's over. So let's talk about why I think the ride's over. I think the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be banging heads for each other for the next decade, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun to watch. I also will tell you this, that I believe that Kansas City may take 2 or 3 years off, sell some of that older high-priced talent, stock up on draft picks, and in 2-3 years from now, you may well see them coming back with another run.
Well, but that another run is going to be probably with a new coach.
Yes.
Because Andy Reid's not going to go through a rebuild in Kansas City.
Want me to tell you who the new coach is going to be?
I have a pretty good idea who it's going to be.
Okay.
You think Mahomes sits through a rebuild in Kansas City?
He's on that contract, and he's basically untradeable with all the guaranteed money, so whether you like it or not, he's staying.
Okay.
Now, he might have a couple of nagging injuries and not play a whole bunch that season or two, but yeah, I mean, literally, he's untradeable because he's got like $400 million in guaranteed money on the books.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for the AFC West. I
So
think the Chiefs do take a step back, but that Chargers, Broncos, and let's not eliminate the Raiders from a conversation in another year or two. Not this year, but Pete Carroll knows how to motivate young players
they may have a winning record this year.
in that division.
Yep.
I don't think so. I don't see that happening.
Watch
There
it.
is the Las Vegas effect. Those home games are, it's kind of like when you go to Miami. Those are hard games to wake up and go play the next day.
I'm just telling you.
I don't think so. They're a year or two away.
I'm not saying they're going to win the division. I said they might have a winning record.
Okay.
I got them at number 4 in the division, but 9-8. Okay, they might be 8-9. Let's call it 500-ish ball, which is probably 4th in that division.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, no, that's going to be a lot of good football there.
Yep. So what do you got for AFC Championship game? Let's just jump right to that.
Okay, obviously we got to put the whole.
Who are the top 2 teams that come out of the AFC?
I'm going to really go out on a limb here and say Josh Allen and Joe Burrow.
That's what I was gonna say.
And the only reason I said Burrow instead of Lamar is I think, unfortunately, Baltimore gets injured somewhere.
They've had a pretty good run of staying healthy, and without major injuries. I mean, Lamar's been banged up, but I wouldn't say he's been banged up too much to get him through the playoffs. So I think you're right. I think Baltimore's gonna suffer some
I
injury.
know that running back has been an absolute bull in a china shop for over a decade, but I just don't know. At some point, he's got to hit a wall.
Yeah.
So that's and getting into those cold, wet days in December and January is when we're going to find out if he's going to hit that wall. So there you go.
So if you got Cincinnati and Buffalo, who do you got in the Super Bowl? Is it Buffalo's time?
If it's not, they're done.
I agree with that. They got to blow this thing up.
Yeah, and
Although they did make it to 4 straight Super Bowls and lose 4 straight Super Bowls.
that was a very different time when there was no salary cap, my friend.
They've shown that they're stubborn. Let's put it that way.
There was no salary cap back then. It's a whole different conversation.
I agree with you though. I think this is the Bills' year, and if they don't get it, I think you're going to see a big shakeup.
Yeah, and potentially you could even see Josh Allen on the move. I'm not saying I'm going to start having that conversation right now, but yeah.
But if you're thinking like, okay, so the Chiefs are on the way down, like neither of us really think they're going to make the championship game.
Right.
This might be that Jordan finally beating the Pistons kind of a thing, where maybe the Chiefs don't quite make it all the way through the playoffs, or aren't playing their best football at the playoffs, which is usually how they go. Maybe this is the time where the Bills just finally get that monkey off their back and take care of business.
Well, the only problem is they got the AFC North to deal with, and that is just a banger of a division. And there's just 3 out of 4 of those games coin flips.
Yeah, but they're gonna beat the crap out of each other every week.
True.
In these division games.
And
So.
they've been doing that for 40, 50 years, and they're going to keep doing it for another 40 or 50 years.
Yeah, but I think you got 3 legit teams that could come out of the North. I think the Steelers could surprise people if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy and plays at the level that we would expect him to. And the Ravens are obviously one of the best, and the Bengals, if they can just get off to a good start, that's the whole deal.
Well, I think the other thing to look at is what is the trade deadline? Week 6, week 7?
It's early in the NFL.
It is very early in the NFL, which, good, bad, we'll see. Not the conversation we're having today, but the conversation I do want to have is that should a big name QB go down anywhere in the NFL, you're probably looking at that team retooling, selling off some high-priced talent, and getting a whole bunch of draft picks to reload for the following year. So look for that to happen, and maybe you could see a guy of a caliber of a Micah Parsons traded that is not on the radar right now because, if Joe Burrow goes down, do they trade Greenlaw?
maybe.
right? And there's a top 5 defensive lineman in the league that will make a difference on someone's defense. So I think you're going to see one of those moves somewhere along the line. Obviously, don't want anybody to get hurt, but the reality is, statistically, it's going to happen. So let's see what happens.
Step up your game at Portland Baseball Club. Whether you're a beginner looking to learn the fundamentals or an experienced player ready to take your skills to the next level, our expert coaches are here to help you succeed. Our training programs focus on developing key skills such as hitting, pitching, fielding, and game strategy through personalized instruction and hands-on drills. Join us for specialized clinics, one-on-one coaching, group training sessions, and year-round tournament teams tailored to all skills and age levels. With state-of-the-art facilities and a supportive environment, you'll gain the confidence and expertise to excel on the field. Don't miss your chance to become a part of Portland's premier baseball community and elevate your game today. Learn more at portlandbaseballclub.com and see how we inform, instruct, and inspire the next generation of athletes.
Hey there, I'm Chad with Jackson Painting and Remodel, and if you're looking to give your home a fresh new look, you've come to the right place. Whether you need a bold new color for your living room or a fresh coat to brighten up your home's exterior, my team and I have got you covered. We specialize in both indoor and outdoor painting, using only the best materials to make sure your space looks amazing and stands the test of time. If you're ready to transform your home, visit jacksonpainting.com. I'd love to come by, chat about your ideas, and give you a free estimate. At Jackson Painting and Remodel, we don't just paint, we make your vision a reality. Again, visit jacksonpainting.com or call 503-620-2600.
On to the NFC, which when you want to talk about a gauntlet, there's 3 divisions in the NFC that I think are going to be just absolute dogfights.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
And the one that you're not referring to is there's still 2 pretty good teams in that division. And oh, by the way, there's one team that's a very good football team. And if they actually trade for a quarterback, which could happen, could even happen inside of their division, we're having a very different conversation right now.
True. But let's get started with the NFC East.
Do it.
Are the Eagles the team still?
Until they're knocked off the perch.
Wait, so you make that argument for the Eagles, but you don't make that argument for the Chiefs?
One of them's got a quarterback that's 25. One of them's got a quarterback that's like 31 and has been banged to crap for the last 8, 9, 10 years.
Yeah, but the Eagles have a quarterback that runs the tush-push, so he's getting banged up. And you could make an argument he's been just as injured as Mahomes has been over the last few years.
Have you not seen that Philly defense?
I have, but that Chiefs defense is pretty good too. I'm just saying, you're making the same argument.
Quarterback's 5 years younger.
All right, that's your argument?
Yes.
That's it?
Yes.
All right. So you got the Eagles, you got the Commanders. You think Jaden Daniels has a sophomore slump?
I hope not.
I hope not too.
I mean, obviously with our ex-Seahawk there running the show, it's kind of a nice deal. Our ex-Seahawk running the defense back there is kind of a nice deal. Good story. Look, that's a franchise, very proud franchise back in the day, and it's been a long, 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 long time since they have been relevant in the National Football League, and I think it's just good for football. I think you've got the nation's capital there. When you've got teams like New York and Dallas, Philly coming in, I mean, there's a lot of storied franchises there. So I hope not. I think he's going to do just fine. Once again, that's a gauntlet inside of, quite frankly, the NFC. There is not a lot of days off anywhere in the NFC. And that's the beautiful thing about parity and what I've been preaching forever. But yes, Washington is definitely in the mix.
Yeah. Do you think Cowboys have a shot at making playoffs this year?
No,
I don't think so either.
They're an incomplete roster. Unless there's a couple of rookies that show up. Look, they had their shot there in 2018, 2019 when they had the best offensive line in football. Zeke was running the ball. Dak was doing everything right. And they missed their window.
Yeah, they did.
So what they really should do, and quite frankly, I think Jerry Jones made the right decision getting that money off the books, getting 2 first-round draft picks, and giving yourself some options down the line. I don't often agree with what Jerry Jones did, but on this one I do. And look, they might have to take a step back in the division for a year or two, and we'll see. But no, I don't think they're relevant to really make any noise this year.
No, which is, one of the reasons why I thought that Parsons deal was great, because there's no way as a team that's probably on the decline should be paying one guy like that much money.
Right.
That's way too much money. And you got, 2 picks and another. That was a good deal.
Oh,
And he's probably he's getting a little roasted for it, Probably should have gotten a little bit more in return. But, man, you look at that dollar figure.
No, because you weren't going to get any more in return. He was only under team control for one more year, and at some point, you're just not going to get any more than
Sure.
that. No, I think, like I said, for the first time in a long time, I think Jerry Jones made the right call. And well, let's revisit Micah and trades later. But to get back to the East,
The Giants.
okay. So there's
a lot going on here.
So let's just focus on the defense for a second. All 4 of their defensive linemen could potentially be Pro Bowlers this year. I'm not kidding when I say that. You got Burns, the rookie they took in the 3-hole, Kayvon Thibodeaux. I mean, that's 3 guys right there that could go to the Pro Bowl.
Yep.
They don't have cap issues. They're not paying a quarterback $100 million.
You think they're a surprise team? I mean, they're definitely not going to take the Eagles or the Commanders down, but I think it's something that is going to be fun to watch as the season progresses.
So a lot of good storylines going on with the Giants. They've got their caretaker at QB, which could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 6 games. We'll see how they decide to play this. If it was me, I'd make it 2 years, but we'll see. They already came out today and announced that Dot's got the backup job. So now the question is Jameis on the block, which I would assume he is. And that gives them another, whether it's a 5th round, 6th round pick, they're going to get something for him. Hello, New Orleans, are you listening? New Orleans, hello, New Orleans. I think they're probably not as good as I want them to be, but they are going to beat someone they shouldn't when at the inopportune time for somebody.
I think they're going to be relative.
Yeah.
I think they're going to play a role in how the NFC North or NFC East is decided, which will be fun. I think Russ playing in New York, the bright lights, I think he's going to love that. They got a pretty good running back. They got a pretty good wide receiver.
They got 2 pretty good running backs. They got a couple of good wide receivers. They just drafted a hell of a tight end.
Yeah. That's going to be a good team. Man, watching them a little bit in the preseason, that Jackson Dart's the real deal. He can play a little bit. So if they get off to a slow start, I can see a lot of media pressure for wanting him at quarterback, and he just needs to sit and watch and let Russ cook for a year, see what happens. And if you're 3-12 at the end of the year, go ahead and let him run out there for the last couple.
See, I wouldn't do that either. This is where I'm really, really strong on this one. I think the biggest problem in New York this year could be Brian Daboll. And if things go sideways early, I don't know if Mara is going to give him another year. And
wasn't he like coach of the year like 2 years ago?
Yeah, but I think he was the coordinator of the year. Right. So, unfortunately, look, we all saw Hard Knocks. We all saw how they couldn't get Daniel Jones out of town quick enough. Saquon was an unfortunate byproduct of that whole situation where he wanted to go win and wearing. So he wasn't, no matter how much money they were going to give him, he wasn't signing with New York.
Yeah, don't blame him.
Yeah, it's kind of a dumpster. Well, it was a dumpster fire there. So, look, New York this is what makes the NFL great. Are they 6-10? Are they 11-6? Do they go on a run somewhere? And
yep.
So I think the reality is I got them around a 500 team, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, not a playoff team, but an intriguing team for the future.
Yep.
NFC North.
Oof.
The best division in football.
I disagree with that, but you're close.
Do you think the Lions regress a little bit this year? They lost, their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator to head coach positions. Do you think that's enough to kind of trip them up a little bit, or do you feel like the schemes are there? If they're healthy, the players are there to make a run at it?
So I feel like it should be less of a problem on offense. And my answer to that, or my reasoning for that, is you've got a veteran quarterback that's been there.
Yeah.
You've got receivers that have been there. You've got running backs, you've been there. Your head coach is an offensive guy.
A really good tight end.
I think the offense should not be a problem. You're not bringing in major personnel changes on offense, anything like that. You're basically running it back on offense.
Yeah.
So I would not expect there to be a whole bunch of hiccups up front. On the D side of the ball, that's where it gets interesting because, well, there's plenty of guys that can play offense in that division, so they better know how to stop it.
Well, okay, but then the next team would, probably talk about would be the Minnesota Vikings. You talk about a lot of teams that can play offense. Jefferson is the real deal. I mean, he's probably the number one wide receiver in football, but can the guy under center get him the football on a consistent basis? We don't know.
And even if he can in 3 years from now, I don't think he's going to do it on a consistent basis this year.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't see him coming out and throwing 4,000 yards and throwing 35 touchdowns with only 10 picks. I see him coming out and throwing 3,600 yards with 25 touchdowns and 25 picks. And Jefferson might get his yardage, but they ain't going to win enough football games.
Well, you got to imagine they're just going to put 2 on Jefferson all the time, and if their game plan is, hey, throw it to the big guy, let's see if he can make the catch, then he's going to have a lot of interceptions. But if he can almost play more of a decoy role, which is kind of wild, but maybe they have an offense if he can just manage football games. They got a decent running back, right? Aaron Jones, he can still run the football, but I'm just worried that he's going to try to force feed Jefferson all year. And that's where, like you said, 25 and 25. That's a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, look, a good offensive coordinator should know, try to run the football up the middle, quick play action, throw everything to the outside, because typically if rookie quarterbacks are going to miss, they're going to miss high and sail the football. If you throw to the outside and you sail the football, it goes out of bounds. You throw over the middle and you sails high, guess what? The safety's running it back the other way. So that's the kind of thing that I'd be looking at. But I look at that division and I don't think they've got a puncher's chance. I think they are just outweighed, and unfortunately it's because of one position.
Yeah, I assume they're probably going to end up just on the outside of the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be a losing team below 500. It might be close, but I think they're just going to be that borderline team this year. They're not, 14-3 last year, that was completely unexpected, and I think they kind of caught the league by storm. I don't think that happens this year. And that division's just way too good because now you got the Green Bay Packers, which might be the best team in that league or in that conference. Or in the division.
I'm still giving it to Detroit in the NFC North for now. Quite frankly, Jordan Love hasn't gone to that next level yet. He's been good,
but he's been getting better every year.
I'll give you that, but there are still maybe 7 or 8 guys in the NFL that when you're on the 20 and you got 2 minutes and 1 timeout left and you got to put the ball in the end zone, there's a reason those guys get paid $50-60 million a year. Now, he's getting paid like one of those guys.
Yeah.
And with the weapons that he has on offense, and my goodness, if they stay healthy, they could have 5 Pro Bowl receivers.
Yes.
Dobbs for a while looked like he was going to be the dude. Christian Walker looked like he was going to be the dude. So, and then obviously they got Golden, who's meant to be all everything. They got some guys to throw the football too. The running back ain't too bad. Running back's real good.
Real good.
So they should score points.
And they just picked up this guy on defense that's arguably one of the best in the NFL and got paid that way.
Well, and that's the problem. That's the problem that I see. Got paid.
Well, that's not a problem for this year though. I think that's a problem for future years.
Well,
so are the Cards all in right now on winning the 2026 Super Bowl?
Yes. No, they push the chips in the middle. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that they can hope is that he's got 4 years on his deal. Golden's a rookie, so he's got 5 years on his rookie deal, but they're going to have to pay him at the end of the 4th year. So they got to be thinking that Micah comes off the books right in time, that they might, at that point, you might have to pay a wide receiver $50 million a year because they're getting 40 right now.
Yeah, with that group they have, you're going to be paying somebody. That's for sure.
Golden, you would think, is the guy. But so, yeah, no, there's NFC North, hell of a division. I don't even really want to call that division.
We're forgetting about a team, though.
No, we're not. They're terrible.
This year, I think the Bears still struggle. But that is a team, if Caleb Williams is what everybody expects Caleb Williams to be, with Ben Johnson as his offensive coordinator, I think the Bears could be back in this in another year or two.
So here's the thing that I don't understand. Everybody has been high on Caleb. I remember going down watching him at Risa, playing the Beavs, and I sat there watching the football game going, it's not like I was watching Andrew Luck 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, okay, he went one, but he hasn't proven anything yet.
Well,
at the big stage, I mean, what do you do with these last year in USC? What they go 7-5?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Wasn't good. So if you're meant to be a dude, you should be going 12-1.
I just think he's going to have that second year, whereas a Jaden Daniels, we're worried about a sophomore slump. I think Caleb Williams might settle in better in his sophomore year, and I think his third year will be his real year. I think he gets this full year with Ben Johnson's offense, and then I think you throw him in next year. They're probably going to have a pretty high draft pick again, if they have draft picks. I'm not sure about that. But that's a team it's going to be interesting to watch. And then I think the other interesting thing is, it was JJ versus Caleb in the draft. Who was going to go 1 overall? There was a lot of people calling for JJ to be the first overall pick and saying he was the best quarterback. So we're going to get to watch those two play twice a year, which will be interesting.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. Look, the Bears have a good roster. I just, unfortunately, in the world we live in today, if you don't got the guy on the center, you can have all the other dudes in the world. If you don't got a guy on the center that can do it, it's just you're not going to be able to compete on a consistent basis. So until I am proven wrong, I'm not touching the Chicago Bears.
Okay. Let's move on to the South.
Okay.
Tampa Bay, cream of the crop.
Tampa Bay is, I think, in one of the best positions in all of football this year.
Okay.
Are
they healthy?
Godwin just got taken off the pup. He may not play week 1 or 2, but by week 4 he should be at full speed. So yes, they are essentially healthy.
Okay, good.
I think they are in the enviable position of flying under the radar. Everybody's worried about all these other divisions, all these other matchups. They have a true QB1 that the average person doesn't think he's a QB1, but he is. And they are just loving life. Everybody's talking about everybody else, and they're going to quietly go 13-4 down there, by the way.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, unless the Saints go and get themselves a quarterback. If they find themselves with a quarterback, that's a team you kind of got to watch out for. Atlanta is an interesting one because what if their quarterback turns out to be good?
Well, the question is, are they going to trade their other quarterback inside the division?
No, not inside the division. I don't know. You'd have to get a big haul in return.
You're not going to get anything for him, but you are going to get $100 million off the cap.
Is that worth making the Saints the second best team in that division? I don't think it's worth it.
Well,
that's why you don't see that deal made. No way.
Well, the Bears have a good roster. I just, unfortunately, in the world we live in today, if you don't got the guy on the center, you can have all the other dudes in the world. If you don't got a guy on the center that can do it, it's just you're not going to be able to compete on a consistent basis. So until I am proven wrong, I'm not touching the Chicago Bears.
Okay. Let's move on to the South.
Okay.
Tampa Bay, cream of the crop.
Tampa Bay is, I think, in one of the best positions in all of football this year.
Okay. Are they healthy?
Godwin just got taken off the pup. He may not play week 1 or 2, but by week 4 he should be at full speed. So yes, they are essentially healthy.
Okay, good.
I think they are in the enviable position of flying under the radar. Everybody's worried about all these other divisions, all these other matchups. They have a true QB1 that the average person doesn't think he's a QB1, but he is. And they are just loving life. Everybody's talking about everybody else, and they're going to quietly go 13-4 down there, by the way.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, unless the Saints go and get themselves a quarterback. If they find themselves with a quarterback, that's a team you kind of got to watch out for. Atlanta is an interesting one because what if their quarterback turns out to be good?
Well, the question is, are they going to trade their other quarterback inside the division?
No, not inside the division. I don't know. You'd have to get a big haul in return.
You're not going to get anything for him, but you are going to get $100 million off the cap.
Is that worth making the Saints the second best team in that division? I don't think it's worth it.
Well,
that's why you don't see that deal made. No way.
Well, okay, but if they go and get Jameis, you might as well get something, because I don't know who else is calling for Cook. That's the only problem.
I think he's your injury guy. I think if somebody goes down,
Correct.
Kirk is the guy that's going to go to a team.
Yes.
I don't think it's Jameis. I like Jameis.
Cook's better than Jameis.
He's better.
And it's not even a conversation.
It's not.
And who knows, maybe Atlanta, I mean, I hate to say this, but Penix has had 4 season-ending injuries.
Well, that was the thing with him in college, right? Is he didn't run the football because he was always injured.
Right.
But he spun it pretty good last year at the end of the season. So
Atlanta's got some weapons down there.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't think we should sleep on Carolina. I mean, that's a bad roster, but their quarterback played a lot better at the end of the year. They started being a lot more competitive in games. Are they going to win the division? No. Are they going to finish 4th in the division? Most likely. Maybe, unless the Saints don't go get a quarterback, then I think they're in trouble. But that's a team that, we talked about the Giants and some other little sleeper teams that they're not going to win a lot, but they're going to disrupt some stuff.
And what do we say about the NFL? In 3 years, you're back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's where at least 2 of these teams are trending in that direction already. So, look, I think we don't need to overthink this one. Tampa's the cream of the crop. Barring any major injuries, they're going to stay there. Atlanta's a nice story. We'll see what happens. And Carolina, like you said, New Orleans is kind of a wild card. Do they get a QB from somewhere? We'll see.
Yep. All right, let's get to the fun one now.
Okay.
NFC West. Is this the best division in football?
I want to say yes, but I think that would just be a little too homerish even for me. I think I would say it's close. I think the AFC North is kind of hard to not look at that. And I also think,
No. Are you saying that the Arizona Cardinals are not as good as the Cleveland Browns?
they're better than the Cleveland Browns.
San Francisco, if Purdy stays healthy,
Well,
that's going to be a really good team.
Well, according to a lot of the pundits, they're like a Super Bowl favorite.
They are. Them and the Rams are being picked to win the division by a lot of these writers. And the Rams, that all hinges on Matthew Stafford.
I would say the AFC North, the AFC West, the NFC North, the NFC West. Jesus, there's some good football this year. Look, they're in the conversation, and I think one of the reasons they're in the conversation is each one of those teams are a well-built roster. I think the worst roster on the deal is Arizona. But there's a lot of talent in that division, and
Yeah, but even Arizona, I mean, they scored the most points in the division last year. Like they can put up some numbers. The problem is, can their quarterback stay healthy?
they do very well against bad football teams. They are a team that can go and beat up on a guy, but then when you go and put them in, in a true competition, they don't do so well.
Yeah.
So all right, so let me flip it on you for the first time today.
Okay.
How does the division end?
It all depends on who's healthy. If Matthew Stafford's healthy, I think the Rams are going to be really hard to beat.
For the sake of this conversation, no major players have any major injury issues.
I'd love to see the Seahawks make a jump. I'm a little worried about our quarterback situation.
Okay.
4 teams, 4 years. He's had one really good year. We are going to run the football a lot more, get back to our identity, which has always been served us well.
Okay.
And in that division. If Stafford's healthy, he's got some horses. He's got Devontae now, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah, he can still put up some numbers.
okay.
49ers, I still don't see it in Purdy. As much as he got paid and hyped, all that stuff, I just think that their run is probably over. They lost some wide receivers, and if McCaffrey gets banged up at all, we've seen what happens. So,
Yeah, I think the Niners only go as far as McCaffrey can take them. So,
So if I had to make a guess, I'm going to say probably the Rams, the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Cardinals in that order.
okay.
And Arizona, I'm a little afraid of because they do put up some numbers.
And they always beat us. Always.
And we have just that thing where we can't beat the Rams.
Well,
So hopefully that changes. But
hopefully Sean McVay's sick that day or something. But all right. I think Seattle has arguably the best defense in football. I don't think they've got some of necessarily the names yet, at least especially on the backside that maybe the Baltimore Ravens do. But I think, well, obviously, look who our head coach is. This is the Baltimore Ravens 2.0.
yes.
This is LOB 2.0 or 3.0 maybe.
LOB was a one of one.
Okay.
We got to come up with a different name.
All right.
We can't compare to the LOB.
All right. That's fair. We'll find a catchphrase for this defense at some point, but they're really good. They are stupid good, and they are kind of built the same way where they're going to get enough pressure out of the front four. They're not great at the front four. They're going to get enough pressure out of the front four. The linebacking core is extremely solid, and I think our back seven is as good as any back seven in the NFL. That's fact.
Yes.
So our offense is questionable. There's going to be some needs to step up. I really like what we've got at tight end. Between the rookie and Bonner coming back, I think you're going to see some offense out of that tight end as well as blocking. Wide receivers I still don't fully understand getting Cooper Kupp when you had Jackson Smith-Njigba. It looks like they're going to play him on the outside, but there's a kid that was doing pretty well in the slot receiver, and we'll see.
You get beat up a lot more in that slot receiver role, though.
Yes and no. It's also about knowing how to take the glancing blow and not the big hit, but yes. And look, we finally, looks like our offensive line may actually have a chance. We went and got the big kid out of North Dakota State who's going to play left guard. If Cross and Lucas can stay healthy at the tackles, we've got no problems there. We should have potential pro ballers there at tackle guard and right tackle. What Sam Darnold are we getting?
That's the key.
And that's the one where...
And does our offensive line stay healthy enough? Because if we do want to just pound the football, we have to have majority of our season starting offensive line intact all season.
And the nice thing is that, look, running backs might get dinged up a little bit, but we legit have 4 running backs. We legit have 4 running backs with Martinez stashed on the practice squad. So Ken Walker's going to miss a game somewhere along the way. Chardonnay's going to miss a game somewhere along the way. But that's okay when you've got, is it Hulani is, I believe, the 3rd running back, and then you've got Martinez, the Beeve, coming in at 4. So I got no problem with that. I just think Seattle needs to, we need to know which version of Sam Darnold we're getting, and that's going to probably take us as far as we're going to go. And once again, the other thing is, I wouldn't say we have a quarterback competition in Seattle, but there could be a few dynamic sets put out for our rookie QB too, and see where that goes.
So who do you got in the West? What's your prediction?
Matthew Stafford stays healthy. They win the division. Seattle gets in as a wild card, and I don't have Arizona getting there. I think the Niners, it's going to be the Niners and maybe, because 7 teams get in, right? So we got 4 division winners. I figure 2 from the West, 2 from the North, and you got to say 2 from the East. So yeah, sorry, San Francisco, you didn't make the playoffs.
So who gets in? Minnesota then?
No, I got Green Bay and Detroit from the North.
Yep.
I got Seattle and the Rams in the West. I got Tampa Bay down south, and then I got Philly and Washington.
Well, do we got one more in there?
No, that's 7. Yeah, so San Francisco's, the music stopped and there was no chairs left.
Yes. I could see that. So what do you think for an NFC championship game?
NFC championship game.
Barring everybody stays healthy.
All right.
As a homer, I know what I'd like to see. As a realist, I think we're going to see an Eagles-Lions game.
I'm just basically going to say the same thing. I think Detroit's got one more run.
But I could also see the Packers making it. I mean, if they mature at the rate that they've been and Love keeps getting better, That's a really good defense.
This is why I don't bet on playoff NFL football, because I can't pick them.
No.
Nobody can.
No.
So, yeah, no, it's going to be an amazing winter, brother, and that's why we love it.
That's right. The NFL is fantastic. It's kind of the best time of year. Plus, you got MLB playoffs going on.
MLB
It's the
playoffs.
NFL season starting.
College football?
Yeah, sure. I'm not a big college football guy, but yeah, it's a great time of year to be a sports fan and excited for this NFL season.
Yeah, all right.
Enjoyed Lineups and Lures? Like, share, and rate the show to help us grow. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening, and catch you next time on Lineups and Lures.